Hello everybody, and welcome to my channel. Reiki with Anna. For today's video, we're going to be talking about something that I'm really excited about. This has been requested many times, and I really wanted to give it my attention. So here it is. This is your distance Reiki session for creativity. I want to jump right in and just start doing a little bit of clearing and some cleansing. And then I'd like to set our intention, light a little bit of the sage I have here, and then we'll go from there. So I have these selenite wands that I use in every video. And I think they're great for very gently clearing the energy that's no longer serving us. So I'm going to start at your crown and work my way down. Okay. Okay. So I think clearing is really important for most subjects that we talk about here, most of the sessions, but particularly I think for creativity. Creativity is such an elusive little trickster. And I think if we give creativity a chance to hibernate, it will. So it's nice to clear and cleanse and make things all sparkly clean so that when creativity decides that it's time to show up and hang out with us for a little bit, we can arrive all shiny and new and ready for the magic to happen. Just be introducing the other wand at this point, and I'm just going to comb them both through your aura ever so gently, clearing anything that really is not serving your wisest self, anything that might block your ability to tap into that creativity. Now I'm going to be using this little spray, and this one is sage and tea tree. I used this in a distance session recently, and I think it's a really nice one for sort of like clearing the fog and de-stressing. It's very rejuvenating, which I think for creativity is just a really important part of the process. So, and I think, as I said before, the clearing from the sage is really important as well. To your right. It's a good one. To your left. Down at your feet. I'm going to do some just at your sacral, a little bit away, maybe 3 feet away. Just a mist, it's not getting you wet or anything. And then just above your head. Okay. And on my hands. I do have a few stones here that I'm going to be using, but we're going to keep it fairly simple when it comes to stones. I would say my all-time favorite and also recommendation in terms of stones for creativity is Carnelian. And I'm not alone. I know many people use Carnelian for creativity, creative expression, and all of that. So I'm just going to light this sage, and we'll set our intention, and then I'll clear a little bit more with the sage after I draw the symbol. Beautiful. Okay. I would like to conduct this Reiki session by proxy on behalf of your wisest, most empowered selves, in loving comfort and perfect balance for creativity. Let's keep it simple. Just at your heart center, a few feet away, but I'm going to be drawing the Reiki symbols, and I'm going to be muttering under my breath. We're going to shift intentions with this sage, and I'm going to be using it for clearing purposes. So now we're just going to use this sage to clear anything else that's no longer serving us. And the way I like to do this and sort of speak about it is to say, if anyone wants to participate a bit more in these sessions, you're welcome no matter how much or little you choose to participate. And just to clear that up. But if you do choose to participate a bit more, you could call to mind a moment when you felt like you sat down, you were ready, and nothing creative came to you. If that doesn't resonate, we're not all of us sort of have these creative endeavors as part of our careers or hobbies or daily lives or whatever, but I figure you're here for a reason. Creativity can be in the form of creative problem solving, thinking about things a bit more creatively. So has there ever been a time when you felt like there was some sort of, screen or shroud over your creativity, between you and your creativity, some sort of blockage? So as we're clearing here, if you'd like to call that to mind, we can just clear that memory and any thoughts that might be attached to it just for now. We're not doing any, memory surgery or anything like that. Just allowing maybe for this session for those ideas of blockages when it comes to creativity to just fade with this smoke. I'm going to move down through your chakra points. Again, I think clearing is super important for creativity. Before I do anything in that realm, even if I don't have time to do a full ritual or session on myself, which some of you have asked about, I perform Reiki on myself all the time, almost daily. I love your comments. Every one of you. This community is just so cool. I can't believe how lucky I am. You're all just incredibly inspiring. And especially at a time like now, you have no idea how much it means to me. When I read the comments, I just feel uplifted and connected to you, and makes everything worth it. So thank you. And I send you so much love and support for now and always. Focusing here on the sacral. The two chakra points that I want to focus on for this session are the sacral, creativity, emotional availability, and sexuality comes from there too. I mean, creating, right? But for the purposes of this, the creative and emotional aspects for just drawing some symbols here. For anything that might be getting in our way. Can clear in the solar plexus region as well for doubt, any kind of doubt. Because I think doubt can be a great inhibitor of creativity, so we're clearing here as well. But the two I'm going to be focusing on primarily are the sacral and the throat. So that not only can we be open to these creative impulses and this flow of creativity and be in dialogue with our creativity, but also to find a way to express it. The throat is a place of self-expression. That's what this chakra is associated with, in addition to all of the other aspects that we've spoken about, communication and all of that, but self-expression. So how is that creativity going to shine out in you, in your life? No judgments. I don't like this word authentic because I think, we can kind of create our own authenticity. I think people have a funny idea of what authenticity is. I mean, that sounds judgmental. People can think whatever they want, but I tend not to use that word because it feels a little disempowering at times. Truth is a word I prefer. But anyway, I think there's a bit of a hang-up, at least from what I've heard from you all and spoken with other people about, is this feeling of, how do I create from an authentic place, right? How do I know that I'm creating from an authentic place? I don't know, have you ever had that thought or feeling? I think we can invite a little bit of release of that here. I believe that if you are creating, then that is authentic. And sure, you'll find your stride and it might be clumsy or foolish, or you might feel like, what's the point? Everyone's done everything. Why am I doing anything? Maybe not. I hope I'm not planting that. But yeah, maybe we can move through that as well and kind of really clear that idea that you have to be constantly on guard, making sure that you're being your most authentic self. It's just a lot of pressure. Because we also have context, right? Context is everything for truth and authenticity and all of that. This has become a bit of a ramble, so I'm going to shush. Okay. Beautiful. I'm going to just take this little fig leaf and just blow this smoke. Gonna kind of shake up the energy, just sort of waft it at you. It fell off of my fig tree. A very gentle, but I think quite effective way of just clearing any of that residual energy. When I say tree, I mean it's still a youngin'. It's not very big. I think it has maybe not. I like the sound. Okay. And just pull from behind and pull forward and flick aside. I'm actually going to flick it right into this smoldering piece of sage here. So I'm not touching you, just kind of coming around. And what we're doing here is I'm just gathering any energy that might be blocking your ability to express yourself, express that creativity. Any thought patterns that might be disempowering when it comes to creativity. I'm not a creative person. Something like that. Oh, but I can't do it, or I've always wanted to do this or that, but I can't. I've always wanted to be an artist, but I'm not very good at perspective. Foolishness. You have your own perspective. How cool. I'm not calling you foolish, but that sneaky little thought, that's not true. Any of these blockages, we just want to clear them. Disempowering thoughts or beliefs when it comes to our self-expression or our abilities. Just for this, just for now, I think there is value in knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and things, but in terms of creativity, I don't think that's when we need to really ignite or activate those thoughts and beliefs. Maybe when we're doing other things like applying for jobs in those fields or things like that, but just about the act of creating, which is what we're talking about now, I don't think we need those voices. Just a little bit here. I'd love to hear if you are a person whose job is in a creative field, or if you are someone who feels very connected with your creativity. I'd love to hear about that and in what way that manifests itself: painting, writing, acting, making YouTube videos, gardening, myriad other things. I'd love to hear. And if you're not someone who considers themselves very creative, I'd love to, either encourage you or ask you if you have any history of being creative. Did you take art when you were in high school, or was there ever a creative activity that you remember loving and feeling really passionate about? Or is there, and right away, a creative pastime or activity or anything like that you really want to do, but you feel like something is blocking you? I just love to know. It's so interesting when I create these videos. Sometimes I feel that after I create the video and I see all of your comments about that subject, I think, oh, I wish I could include this and this and this in that video. So it's almost like with every video I want to create a follow-up. Okay. Okay. Just from a distance, I'm just going to do a little spray at your throat. Lovely. Okay. Just doing a little plucking, removing throat, self-expression, but also the conscious mind. So what is in there that we want to pull out? Okay. So now, as far as stones go, I'm just going to take out this fairly small piece of sodalite. Probably my favorite stone for the throat chakra. And I'm going to place this ever so gently on your throat. It's very smooth. It's very light. Just there. And, I wanted to kind of clear and cleanse and create some space so that this stone can really send that beautiful healing energy all throughout the throat region and in the space around, and even create more space that's connected to the throat. So we have more room here for self-expression, supported self-expression. Just allowing for expanse, any expansion we can get here. Okay. I'm going to be placing 2 more stones. I'm going to be placing this really gemmy piece of yellow calcite on your solar plexus, just to kind of dispel any of that self-doubt and fill it with this really honey-like sunny energy, joyful. So ever so gently just placing that on your solar plexus. And then I have this one here, which is a little sunstone. I love charging this stone in particular with those really kind of, those highs, those moments where I feel like I wake up and I feel like I can take on the world. I don't know if you have been experiencing more or less of those lately. In self-isolation, it feels like the kind of ups and downs of these, it seems like from your comments, and also in my life and my friends and family and things, it seems like there's, the highs come and then the lows come, and, in terms of motivation and productivity. And I overheard a neighbor while I was walking my dog. I overheard a neighbor talking about how they were just going on this litany of all the things that they wanted to do. And then there was a beat, and then they laughed, and I could tell it was because the person on the other end of the phone was laughing. It was a long list. But I love the stone for taking that energy, that kind of buzzing. All right, what do we have going on today? I'm going to do this and this and this. I'm going to shoot 3 videos. Which, that's insane. I've never been able to do like a video, more than 1 or 2 videos a day. But, I'm going to do all these things and paint this and, and I take that energy and I try to ground it. But before I do, I like to put that energy into a stone, and I think Sunstone is great for that. It has these little dark flecks which kind of ground it as a stone, but it has this beaming, radiant, optimistic energy. It's like the energy of the sun, and it's so happy. So I like to take it, and so it feels very charged with that energy. So I'm going to be placing this on your sacral. And I think this and the honey calcite will work really well together for really not only kind of dispelling that doubt and breaking it up and kind of dispersing it to be recycled into new energy, but also filling up that space with really sunny, dewy, warm optimism. So just placing that there. Okay. Now for the head honcho, the pièce de résistance, Carnelian. And what a beautiful piece. This is such a, I don't know if you can tell how large it is, but it's very large. And it's so wonderful. I love this piece. It's such a beautifully connected stone. I don't know, I was talking about this stone in my previous video, and it's hard to kind of explain, but it sort of feels embryonic, like it feels like you're in the womb or something. And I think for creativity or creation, that feels really right for this stone in this session and this season. So what I wanted to do with Carnelian is just run it through your aura, your etheric fields. And now that we've cleared any kind of spots of doubt or anything like that, I just want to fill that up with this beautiful, warm, inspiring, creative energy. And the way that this stone sort of helps me and makes me feel is it makes me feel so supported in my creativity. It makes me feel very connected to and supported, and I feel very comforted by it. Whereas I think a big part of creativity is vulnerability, and you're putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself out there to be judged, to be to be judged, and for other people to have opinions about your work or you even. And and this just feels very comforting, very supportive. And I think that's really important so that you can access that really deep vulnerability without kind of shying away from it out of fear or doubt or any of those things, that this can kind of step in and just hold you up. I hope that makes sense, but I adore this stone, and if you are at all interested in stones, I don't think you need to be spiritual or connected or benefiting from Reiki sessions or anything like that. I don't think you need to purchase anything, but if you are interested in that, I would say Carnelian is a pretty good one, and this is a large piece, and I got this for $3. I know that that's a lot of money to some for a stone and not for others, but just to give you an idea, it's not that easy to find stones like this for $3. So, but I think Carnelian is one of those that you might have a little bit of flexibility with. So I'm just going to start at the crown and work my way down. And we're just going to run this, like I said, through your energy body. Okay? I know everybody works differently when it comes to creativity and their relationship to creativity. I don't think that, I think one thing that works for one person might be very uninspiring to another person. But if you're, finding yourself with a little bit of extra time on your hands and you want to tap into some of the little creative projects or creative side of your life in a way that maybe you haven't for a while, or that's, without sounding disempowering, been a bit neglected maybe, then I think, the first kind of step, I believe, is just showing up for whatever is there. It sounds really vague, but kind of be guided by your inspiration maybe, more than trying to tell your creativity where you want it to go. That might sound super obvious, but I just mean even in terms of what outlet you specifically might want to kind of pursue or dedicate time to. I'm an actor. I did a lot of theater and a writer. Recently published playwright. And I've had people ask me how they can write a play, or not on YouTube, but in Friends and things like that. Well, I have this story and I'm not sure if it's a play or a film or a short story, or, and my first piece of advice is, it's usually, I think the story will tell you what it is. I know that sounds could sound a bit sort of pretentious or self-indulgent or something, but I do think that with creativity, it's like this, you do have to be in conversation with your creativity. Have to. You do. That I believe that it's a presence, I don't know that I've never really felt that I have all that much control or I don't ever feel responsible for my creativity, for things it's just, that spark that people talk about, the spark of inspiration. I think that that's someone being in a positive, healthy conversation with their creativity. And I know I'm not the first to say things like this, of course. But maybe you have a different perspective on creativity and you think it is something that can, that is, born out of ritual, routine, that can be accessed easily. And if that's the case, I'd love to hear about it. I know that Ira Glass talks about how writing is, paraphrasing, but that it's a lot about, just kind of sitting down and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And initially you will hate it because the reason that you got started in the first place is because you had good taste. Not saying that about myself, but and then I think that's funny. And then so you'll be very judgmental of it, but you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. So maybe, I think that's true too. There are things that we can do to call forth that creativity, I think, and there are things that we can do to open ourselves up to that conversation with creativity, that dance with creativity. I do think routine helps. I think I'm going to dedicate this amount of time every day to writing, even if I just stare at that damn cursor. That'll be that's my knocking at the door of creativity for today. Creativity didn't want to answer. What are you gonna do? We'll try again tomorrow. Really sending this beautiful, billowing energy, inspiration, new thoughts, sparkling energy to the sacral here. And just swirling it around the roots. And for that, I like to just sort of do outside of the hips in perfect respect for your comfort and boundaries. We're just going to kind of swirl it outside your hips. So in addition to everything that we've covered and spoken about here, to invite trust and safety here in your creativity in all of this. And there's room for everybody. If you don't resonate with any of this, please take what serves you and leave the rest. Who needs it? If it doesn't feel empowering or doesn't serve you, or it's not something that you feel that you can relate to or resonates with you, please just leave it at the door. Try something else. Just food for thought. I do want to hear about that, though, if you feel like you're able to harness your creativity and things like that. I love hearing about how different people work. Okay. It's beautiful. Actually, instead of putting this away, I think I'm just going to move the Sunstone up a little bit. So I'm kind of going to place the Sunstone ever so comfortably and ever so gently just on top of your belly button. And then I'm going to place the Carnelian where the Sunstone was. So ever so gently moving this up and placing that there. Okay. Just down by your feet with the spray. Okay, just do a little scan. Comb out a little bit from the throat. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to place my hands on your chakra points starting at the crown. And again, if you wanted to participate a bit more, I would say maybe while we scan through and kind of do this hands-on healing, you can just imagine the warmth from my hands kind of moving down, and just invite some awareness into it if you're called to. Is there any place where you feel like there's any kind of sensation, just to try to be aware of that field of sensation and what's happening there. Hands on either side of your head here. Just making notes, taking inventory of any sensations, tension, tingles, vibrations, blockages, itching, gurgling. Release, warmth, I'm not touching your throat, just a little outside of it, but here. Take this little pineapple quartz. Love this stone for breaking up energy, and I'm just going to kind of draw some symbols at your throat. I'm getting a lot of energy here, kind of a buzzing and a little bit of a tightness. Using it as like a little drill, kind of this. Okay. Heart center. Creating from a place of love. Solar plexus here. And the sacral. You're warm, safe, secure, comfortable. Supportive energy coming out through my hands, down into your belly. You're safe to create. You're safe to be vulnerable. Your wisest self, your self-expression is infinitely more important than the haters, the critics, your self-doubt. Trust that the world deserves to hear your voice, to experience your creative expression. You owe it to the world to share that. Don't let other people's insecurities or your own doubts about your abilities get in the way of that gift that you have to offer. I'm just connecting the throat and the sacral, opening up the channel between these two. Opening this channel up so that we can express ourselves creatively. Moving my hand up to the solar plexus, express ourselves creatively and confidently. Back down to the sacral. Creativity is not reserved for people who are confident in their abilities or their skills or anything like that. But we're just opening that up and activating that confidence so that you can move through your creativity without stumbling on self-doubt. Now I'm connecting the sacral and the solar plexus here, just placing one hand on the sacral and one on the solar plexus and opening that channel up as well. This is in perfect respect for your boundaries and your comfort as always. Beautiful. And then the root. So again, just supporting and activating that safety, that support system, and also just sending a lot of soothing energy in through the roots, just to soothe anything here. What's coming to mind a bit is anybody whose job is in the creative field, and if you haven't, I know there are obviously, I'm not saying the creative people are the only ones who are affected by this career-wise. I mean, a lot of creative people haven't been affected by the self-isolation. I hope you know what I mean, but just in terms of creativity and the theme here, if you know, we're talking about the root, which is all about safety and security and all that kind of stuff. But if your creativity has any kind of connection to your security, financial, you know, job security, all of that, I know it's a scary time, and I feel like what might happen, and I've spoken to friends of mine who are feeling this, is an extra sort of push or an extra sort of added pressure of being more creative right now because your livelihood really depends on it, and you're kind of in this situation where you're having to maybe work a bit more or a bit differently. I don't know if any of you are creative types and you know what I mean. I spoke with a friend of mine recently who, like most creative people, have several jobs and lost a few of them, and now she's kind of writing full-time and feels an enormous amount of pressure to write something amazing. And she's kind of jokingly saying, like, I feel like I can't do anything or write anything because there's so much pressure to do it. So if that's coming up for anybody, where you sort of feel like the pressure's on, I've got to do it, and then I sit down to do it and nothing's coming up, let's clear that as much as we can. Let's release any kind of thought patterns that might be linked to that feeling of necessity. Let both of them sit in truth, but let's not link them so that once we experience one thing, it goes and then we experience the other thing following after. I hope that makes sense. All of this was a bit rambly. But to just sit in the trust here. Yeah. Release expectations, release self-judgment, outside validation. If it's available to be released and you feel called to. I'm going to spray on either side of the hips, clearing anything that might have come up during that little chat. Beautiful. Okay. Just a little scan. Okay. Nice. I'm going to clear one more time with our trusty selenite wand. And then I'm going to do our little affirmations. And then I'll leave you to creating. A few of you have asked here and on my other channel. If you're new here, you're not familiar, I have an ASMR channel that's strictly ASMR videos, and that's kind of one of my creative outlets. I love doing really kind of fun, creative, I don't mean to, sound cocky there, but role plays and things like that. And yeah, I love it. I have so much fun over there, but it does take me a really long time to create those. It's sort of like my love of ASMR and my love of writing and fantasy and things like that. They get to kind of run wild, and just be silly and fun and all that stuff. But it's totally off topic. What I was going to say is, over there I've had people ask if I have a P.O. box because they wanted to send me stuff that they've created, and I thought that was so cool. I don't have a P.O. box for either channel, but I'm working on it. I've had some requests for that, and some of my amazing Reiki clients have asked for that as well, like a P.O. box. So I'm working on it, trying to figure out the best way to go about that. But once I do, if there's no, I'm not trying to encourage anyone to do anything like that if I get a P.O. box, but I have seen those comments and I am working on it. Okay. So just clearing any stubborn little bits, any little thoughts that might have come up. Okay. Okay. You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong and you are capable. You are creative. You are creative. You are safe. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your amazing support and your support of each other. It's incredibly beautiful, incredibly inspiring. Thank you for all of your ideas, for requesting this video or recommending it. Thank you for inspiring me to be more creative. I just really appreciate you all so much, and I want to thank you for, being here, for subscribing to this channel, which is really important in order for me to continue to do this, and for all of your love, for your support on Patreon, which is just already such a fun community, and for reaching out for sessions. It's been wonderful to connect with you all in that way. But really, I know a lot of you are going through a lot, and I just am sending you so much love. This is a lighter video, and I hope it is as welcome as some of my maybe heavier topics, but to each their own. So, thank you. I'm sending you all so much love and support. And until next time, be well.